So I just had a question to come up about what's the best deal on the plasma cutters coming from YESWELDER with their current sales. Now the sale prices will change, but the concept still remains. So I actually broke down some few parameters here to help make the decision on which one's right for you. So let's talk about them. So based off the current sale here, what we're looking at is a range from $159 up to $279. Now, a few things to consider is how many amps the plasma cutter will, produce, as well as the clean cut and then the max cut. Then obviously the final number is how much does it cost and which one's worthwhile. So when I look at these numbers here, knowing that this one is $279 for the high frequency cut 55, and it's more expensive than one that's going to cut larger, I would not be leaning toward the high frequency cut 55. Now at this point, it's going to come down to the price and the coin in your pocket, what you want to spend on it. But if it was me at this point, not just because it's the largest one, but for $245 for a clean cut of 5/8 of an inch and a max cut of 63/64 on a non-high frequency setup, that would be the ideal candidate with that. So when you start talking about high frequency versus non-high frequency, basically a non-high frequency is not going to interfere with a plasma table. So if that's not a concern, you could look at any of the 45, 50, or 55 high frequency setups. But if you want that later on for a plasma table, you probably want to lean toward a non-high frequency. So with that in mind, if you want something for a plasma table, this cut 55 non-high frequency is going to cut a 1/2 inch clean cut and 3/4 of an inch max cut. Hey, $239 for that is a solid deal right there. But for $6 more, hey, you might as well bump up to the cut 65 DS Pro. Now outside of that, what we're looking at, if you factor in the cut 45, that's going to give you a clean cut of 1/4 of an inch, and that'll give you a max cut of 1/2 inch. So if you're cutting things around the frame rail, like 3/16 or brackets for 1/4 inch, hey, the cut 45 will actually do fine. Save your coin at $159. So if you want to either start a little bit hotter or maybe upgrade later, that's something you have to consider. But if you move into the 50 amp, that's going to give you 2/5 of a clean cut and a 16/25 of a max cut for $219. So outside of that, I would really gauge on what's your coin like and how much you want to spend on it. So if you're just looking things around the shop, 1/4 inch, maybe a little bit more, one of these two of the cut 45 and cut 50 would be ideal. But if you find yourself cutting larger stock later on, or you don't want to have to worry about upgrading for $20 or more, hey, I've done more for less. You might as well bump up to the 55 and 65 non-high frequency. So at the end of the day, if you're talking with about, what's $80 a range, and that's affordable to you to go from a 45 to a 65, to me, the cut 65 would be the win. So hopefully this helps here to help find the best deal on the plasma cutter. So the sale prices will change, but the concept will be the same as far as how much the clean cut is, how much the max cut. So what that comes down to, your clean cut will basically cut it with very minimal drosses left behind, but the max cut, you might have to beat it off with a hammer toward the end of it to have that full sever on it. So hopefully this helps here finding the best deal. So if you want to find more details on any of these plasma cutters coming from YESWELDER, check the link down below, and you can also find the consumables. If it's not in there, you can check Burk's Garage Showcase to find more deals on YESWELDER. So you can just basically, open up the showcase and type in cut, and many times that'll find all these cutters here. But if you need more, just put cut 55 or 50. But YESWELDER, I put them to the test. For example, the cut 65 claims is a max cut of 63/64. I actually cut a 1-inch round stock with it, severed it, dropped it right off. Now at the same time, I cut a 13/16 I-beam here, and just toward the very end of it, you had to do a little bit of mild trimming to be able to beat it off. But it cut that as a 13/16, pretty much a clean cut, minus a little bit of my finagling with my cutting. And hopefully this helps making a decision when it comes to YESWELDER's plasma cutters. And most importantly, I want to thank you for your trust in asking these type of questions here.